Welcome folks to another episode of The Block Hole, the exciting reality TV show that takes the issues of HIV and AIDS to the street. We actually chatted with the guys from Cell Block, coming from Guelph. Today we are hoping to have a very interesting discussion. Today as our educator we have Jenna, and as our special guest Norman. Guys, thank you for coming and chat with us, and we hope we really would have a pretty interesting discussion. We'll take a short break, but the Block Hole, of course, will be right back.
Best products, best service, do it best. Thinking about building, renovating, or redesigning? Chances are, if you're going to get everything you need, you'll be doing a lot of shopping around. What if all your household and hardware needs can be met at one premium house? The Creative House Do It Best. With the largest selections and variety on the island, providing the highest quality in tiles, Do It Best quality paints, faucets, glassware and serveware, bathroom accessories, electrical and plumbing supplies, power tools and hardware. At the Creative House Do It Best, we give you value for your dollar. Located at Spiceland Mall, Woodlands and Bruce Street Mall. Call us at 439-DO-IT-3648 or visit us on Facebook and Twitter.
Do you suffer from back or neck pain? Were you hurt in a car accident or suffer from a sports injury? Pills and surgery may not be the solution. If you suffer from aches and pains, visit the Philippia McSween's Memorial Healthcare Center to find out how chiropractic care can have you feeling better. Get back on the road to recovery. Call or email today, treating problems effectively and safely.
Tell me guys, what's one of the first things that would come to your mind when you hear HIV and or AIDS? Death. The very first thing that comes to your mind?
Death.
Yeah, that one always comes up. Death. Right. Anything else?
Sex.
Sex. Honest. Go ahead. Death.
I would say the amount of people affected by it.
Alright, so the first thing that comes to your mind is the amount of persons who are HIV positive. Yeah. Anything, lady? What comes to your mind first?
To my mind, sex.
Sex. Alright, so we have death, sex, and the amount of persons that are HIV positive. Yeah. Alright, so let's tackle death first. Why death?
Well, once you know that you got AIDS, it's dead. You go dead. Most dead. You coming back. Once you got it, prepare to death.
Alright. There was someone else who spoke death.
Yeah, when I said it.
Same thing. So once you hear HIV or AIDS, that once you hear someone has been diagnosed with AIDS or is HIV positive, immediate.
No, I don't say immediate, but you short your lifespan.
Alright. You said sex.
Yeah.
What about?
The first thing you think about HIV and AIDS and you hear is sex, because you know one of the main ways or one of the fastest ways of transmission is through sexual intercourse. So automatically you hear HIV/AIDS, you think about sex. Yeah.
Alright. You think we can do anything about the rate of transmission as individuals, since you know that the number one way of transmitting is through sexual intercourse?
There's always things that you can do to actually minimize your risk of getting infected with the virus. So.
Okay. Things like?
For instance, that you have it, you know that you don't want to give anybody else. Best thing to do is just abstain from it. Just abstain from sex.
So that's like one way.
Or if you want to do it, use a condom.
So you're saying if you're HIV positive, you should abstain?
Yeah, abstain.
Alright. But don't you think HIV positive persons have normal sexual feelings? So don't you think they have the right to enjoy sex too?
Well, you say nice.
So you think it's not as easy.
Nah, it's not easy.
It will never be that easy because remember that the topic sex is so private, but then it's so public. You know, it's something that everybody, every adult get themselves involved. These things that you cannot control, feelings that you get that you don't expect to get. You don't have to be thinking about it, and it just happens. You just want it to happen. So
you think in a lot of respects we don't have control over how we act on these feelings.
Of course, there will. Then there are things that you have to learn to have self-control in anything that you do. You cannot do it to the excess. So you have to learn to control yourself, because sometimes, well, you know, probably you might be in a party drinking and probably you mightn't be thinking straight. So instead of you just going home with somebody random, if you don't have a committed relationship or something like that, sometimes you go home for yourself. You try to build up that self-confidence or that self-control, so you don't put yourself in situations that you cannot handle.
I like that. All right. So you were saying it's not as easy said to abstain from sex or whatever.
The small head just be thinking more than the big head.
Yeah, but see, right now, you know what I'm thinking? With respect to AIDS, we should not let the small head control the big head. The big head always should be controlled.
Yeah, because you bring, but next time you bring.
But you know, sometimes like in situations like young guys, you're not in a committed relationship, you're not living with a partner or something like that, and you don't have a regular sex partner, and you trouble a lot of girls, and you see, but one day probably one might decide to give it to you that particular day, and you really want her for a long time. So the opportunity you get, you just take it. So it's like basically like that, you know. Most times young people outside here, most of us, we're not in a committed relationship. So little things happen based on you might just see a guy, you're not just seeing a guy and go and have sex with him, but it's just basically you're not in a committed relationship. So you'd rather take a chance and have sex with this guy or you have sex with that guy because you're not committed. You don't have no strings attached.
Do you believe then one of the biggest issues is the mindset? How we approach sex and relationships and so on?
Because as I think, one of my biggest thing, I think that sex education should be taught from primary school level. And it's not just because you're corrupting children, but remember, this is a part of our body. And women get it when you close to your periods, after your periods, you have feelings that you cannot control. Men wake up every morning with it. So it's like you need to like make sure if you're from pre-primary school, you're growing up primary school level, you're growing up knowing that these feelings are there. You will learn to control this feeling until you're reaching a stage, well, then you're 16 and then you feel, well, you know you're responsible, because sex is a responsible thing. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you to be sexually active. You got to be responsible. There are a lot of bad handles that comes with it. From you lose your virginity, then problems, you know, real problems, stress, all kind of things.
All right. Well, just have all I said there, because at this point we have to take a very short break, but remember, this is the Blanco. When we get back, we have a lot of issues to talk about. We realize we have a point to make. So please hold your point, but we'll be right back.
Sure, man.
The Blanco will be right back after this break.
This one's for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petty Martinique. Get on your marks. Set. Bingo! On Saturday, October 29, 2K11, race to the National Cricket Stadium to experience the bingo of all bingo! In lane 1, sponsored in part by Huggins Automotive, is a brand new 2011 Hyundai Tucson, coupled with an all-inclusive automotive kit, complements SP's International. In lane 2, part sponsored by Digicel, are Caribbean cruise tickets for 2 with $500 spending money. In lane 3, compliments Digicel are 2 BlackBerry smartphones, and in lane 4, $20,000 in hot cash. Compliments the NLA in collaboration with Clark's Court and Carib, a total of $126,000 in prizes at the starting blocks, and so many ways to win big. Car, cruise, phones, cash, and cultural entertainment from Grenada's top artists and much more. Brought to you by the National Lotteries Authority. Tickets are only $50, so everybody tell somebody and race on out to the National Cricket Stadium on Saturday, 29th October. Must be 18 or older to participate. Remember, when you play bingo with the NLA, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation-building initiatives.
Do you suffer from back or neck pain? Were you hurt in a car accident or suffer from a sports injury? Pills and surgery may not be the solution. If you suffer from aches and pains, visit the Philippia McSween's Memorial Healthcare Center to find out how chiropractic care can have you feeling better. Get back on the road to recovery. Call or email today, treating problems effectively and safely.
Best products, best service, do it best. Thinking about building, renovating, or redesigning? Chances are, if you're going to get everything you need, you'll be doing a lot of shopping around. What if all your household and hardware needs can be met at one premium house? The Creative House Do It Best. With the largest selections and variety on the island, providing the highest quality in tiles. Do It's best quality paints, faucets, glassware and serveware, bathroom accessories, electrical and plumbing supplies, power tools and hardware. At the Creative House Do It Best, we give you value for your dollar. Located at Spiceland Mall, Woodlands and Bruce Street Mall. Call us at 439-DO-IT-3648 or visit us on Facebook and Twitter.
Unlimited talk $75. Talk unlimited to over 50 destinations. Unlimited talk to all local landlines. Landline to mobile 45 cents. Sign up now.
Watch, talk, click.
Hi guys, I'm the co-host of the Blocko, Nikoyan, and you know I always like to get away from the serious HIV and AIDS talk and get to know a little bit more about the communities we visit. Today we're in Guave, right at Cornet's Walk, as you see, and with me I have Reese Sam. I mean, everybody should know who Reese Sam is, from Lotto to Speed Zone. And it's good that I mentioned Speed Zone because we're in Guave, the community of one of Grenada's greatest sportsmen. Miss Sam, I'm sure you could give us more information about that.
I'm sure. Kirani James, of course. The Jaguar. Very popular, would have won the 400 meters in the IAAF World Championships that was recently held in Daegu. Now, I don't know, what can I say? We're extra proud now because Guave is known for its pride and we're extra proud.
And of course, the whole of Grenada is very proud of Kirani James. Is there anything else we should know about Guave?
We do everything. We have a club called Speed Zone Track and Field Club. There's also another club called Western Jets. Those two basically focus on track and field, but basketball is a huge thing. The Sparklers basketball. We also have swimming, netball, football.
So once you hear Guave, Grenadans, the first thing that comes to their mind is fish. Now this is the fishing village of Grenada.
Yes, as you rightly say, we're into fishing and farming in some instances. In terms of the life of Guave, we're known to be Action City, the town that never sleeps.
Tell us a little about what carnival time, what happens?
Oh, carnival is a big deal, and I'm proud to say that we have our own carnival, so to speak. There's a lot of things that people didn't know that we started. Monday Night Mass, that started in Guave. Tuesday Juve, that started in Guave. Yes, we have a Carnival Queen show, we have a Calypso show, we have our own Soca Monarch, and we're known for our king, Mr. Killer, of course. So we have quite a number when it comes to like the culture, the leading acts in Grenada, right here.
So you have Soca, you have Calypso King, Soca King, Governor General, athlete, everything you could think about, you could find it in Guave. For a small town, it's doing big, big things. Now, unfortunately, I have to cut the talk and we have to go straight back on the block with Andy.
We're talking with the guys from Tel Block, from Guave. And we were having some nice discussion actually. We zooming in a little bit on sex and how we relate to each other in terms of how we respond to our urges and so on. At this point, I want our educators to jump in a little bit.
We mentioned sex as one of the key ways in which persons can become infected with HIV. Sex is not the only way, though we recognize that it's probably the most common of the ways. There are other methods through which persons can become infected with HIV virus. And we're speaking here of persons who would use intravenous drugs through the use of needles. We're speaking of the issue of blood transfusion. We're also speaking of mother-to-child transmission. Though mother-to-child transmission has drastically reduced in recent times. The use of medication and babies that can be removed from the mothers and can be born HIV negative. It all comes down to testing. As you know, HIV AIDS cannot be seen on the faces of anyone. The only way you can know if you're infected is if you get tested. And of course, persons who become pregnant are advised to get tested early so that, you know, we can know their status, and as a result they can be treated accordingly so they can have HIV negative babies. And the other critical point coming out of the discussion so far is that HIV really is a personal choice. It's a personal decision that you have to make. And if you have to make it, then you obviously advise that you make a very conscious one to protect yourself. And protection here means the use of a condom, both male condoms and female condoms. Abstinence you mentioned earlier, which I'm sure many of you already agreed, is a very difficult choice for already sexually active people. Right? Once you're sexually active, it's like we normally say it's like Pringles. You know, once you pop it, you just have to keep on going.
Follow the rainbow like Skittles.
The only way really is to protect yourself.
One of you mentioned the issue of using 2 condoms, and it's something that we should clarify. That at no point in time, persons going into sexual encounters should use 2 condoms, because you run the risk of them breaking because of the friction involved.
We realized that one of the hottest points that was raised so far is the issue of sex and how we respond to all the urges.
My favorite topic, you know.
I realize. Right, but I want us to zoom in on one's personal responsibility as it relates to how we respond to our urges and how we can protect ourselves from HIV and AIDS and even other sexually transmitted infections and diseases. Because a lot of times as we say, we get the urges, right? And the offer comes and you just go along with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. But do you think going with the flow is a healthy approach?
No.
As it relates to HIV and AIDS and other STIs?
No, not healthy.
So what are the healthy alternatives? That's what I want us to get at.
Protect yourself.
Protection.
Yeah, protection.
How do you protect yourself?
The condom.
You think if there's an opportunity that was offered and your condom is not available, you'll be willing to pass it up?
Yeah, I will take the chance.
You will take the chance to do what?
Yeah, I will take it
without condom. As long as I not get bruised or the woman not bruised or not
I'll take a chance.
Discharge inside of her. Could stand a chance and do catch the virus.
Well, so we have a number of things coming here, right? Once you don't get bruised, and once you do not discharge. All right. Can any one of our educators comment on that one here?
I would probably want to ask him what guarantee he has.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's a risk situation, so you have to be very specific of what you're dealing with.
So you think you have that level of self-control?
Yeah, man of skills and power. Why not?
It's a kind of interesting point, but you may not necessarily be able to control yourself from getting bruised.
Because
one of the critical things that usually would cause bruises during sex is hair, is pubic hairs.
Yeah.
Right? And you may find that if there's pubic hairs involved, you would have lesions being made on the head of the penis or on the vagina, as the case might be. You may not even know that there is a bruise, right? You may not even know that there is a bruise. You may have rubbing of the skin that may cause damages. And another critical thing that you also need to pay consideration to is that even if you may not necessarily discharge into the woman, there is issue of pre-ejaculation, right? That fluid will leave the penis even before ejaculation occurs. And you also have to look at the presence of HIV virus in vaginal fluids, in the fluid of the woman vagina. So there is too much risk involved.
On the other hand, sex is a hard thing to refuse.
It is, but your life is a critical thing for you to lose.
Exactly.
But just
take the chances.
It still goes back to sex education in school, because I think we need to actually make people to educate people more. And so you start on an earlier age. So when you grow up, you know, because 1 + 1 is 2. So you're growing up from that level, knowing that if you don't protect yourself, there's a chance that you can get HIV or some other STI or something.
We need to take a break here. All right, this is a Blocko. We have been discussing with the guys from Guav. We'll take a short break, but the Blocko, of course, will be right back.
Unlimited talk, $75. Talk unlimited to over 50 destinations. Unlimited talk to all local landlines. Landline to mobile, 45 cents. Sign up now.
Watch, talk, click. There ain't no place like Huggins. You could always count on Huggins. And what's of great importance? Grenadians own it all. Insurance or shipping, paint or grocery shopping. For whatever you're looking, Huggins answer your call. Huggins for your dollar. Huggins peace of mind. Huggins for your travels. Huggins all the time. Huggins is the leader. Huggins is the best. Huggins with experience. Huggins live the rest.
Thanks for staying with us, folks, right here on the Blocko. We're with the guys from Cell Block, from Guav. And before we left for the break, we had a number of points that were coming up. You had a question?
Right. Yeah, you know, I had a point.
Oh, I have a point. Go ahead, make
just
your point.
Elaborate a little bit more on generosity. I think that knowledge is key in life. You know, knowledge is power. And back as she was saying that we should introduce sex education into the primary schools. I think this will be an excellent thing to do. As people will be more aware of the different diseases and everything with the AIDS and HIV, and they'll probably take the necessary precautions to try and prevent these diseases, as we know there is no cure for it, so prevention is the best way to go about it. So I think they really should try to implement the sex education in the schools as early as possible.
Nice. Jenna, you were saying?
Yes, I just wanted to return to the point that you made earlier on. It's important to note as well that women seems to have a greater risk of coming into or receiving the virus, if I should put it that way, because of they have a larger surface area. The vagina has a larger surface area than the penis of a man. So although you might be thinking that you can control what you're doing, the fact that a woman has a larger surface area and your semen can exist in her for several days exposes her or puts her at a higher risk. And remember that the only sure way that one could determine whether they are HIV positive is through testing. So you can't just look at somebody and determine that. So the fact of just looking at a woman and taking a chance is a very dangerous thing. And it goes both ways. A woman looking at a man or a man looking at a woman and taking a chance is a dangerous thing.
You don't know cure for it,
Cure for
AIDS.
HIV, AIDS.
Just like syphilis, gonorrhea.
Cure for this.
You can only suppress it. Number of them you can suppress it.
So knowing all of that, do you think it is worth taking a chance?
Neither what dying for him. You know what dying for?
Why should I have 10 or 20 minutes of pleasure and then a lifetime of pain? If you think, you know, you start to have this like thinking about it, and these are little ways to motivate you, because sometimes you might be around and you get the opportunity to have sex with somebody that you wanted to have sex with in a long time, but you don't have a condom. So would you just take the risk of going and have sex with that person? Or would you just wait until the opportunity arises again? Because what is for you is always will be for you. Nobody can take it away from you.
Sex and running away from you?
It's not. But you know, when we're younger, we're not looking at it like that. When we're in the teenage years, or we just starting to actually be, because sometimes you're 20 and you're starting to have sex and you're just starting to enjoy. So you tend to have it as much as possible and not even thinking about it. But when you start to mature into sex life, you know, you're no longer a virgin, because even though you're having sex twice, 3 times, you're still a virgin. I consider you a virgin because you don't really know the ropes of it. So it's like, once you start to mature into the sex, then you because then the time you come, you'll be able to control your sexual urges more. So we need to actually look at ourselves and try to protect ourselves before we could even think about protecting somebody else.
So as Norman said, the whole idea of protection is a personal choice.
It's a personal choice. You have to want to protect yourself so that I could protect you. If I don't protect myself, how could I protect you and we're in a relationship?
And one of the things you said that I want to agree with is that I think we have to begin to change our mindset. Start thinking in a sense that, okay, it might be 2-3 minutes of pleasure, but is it worth risking your life for?
You always have to look at it like, what if it's me? Or what if it's somebody else? Would I want somebody to discriminate against me? Or it goes back to that, because remember, if you have the virus, it's not just basically you just have a virus just like that. It has a whole wide set of it. It's not just that there is not a cure, there's not all these things. You remember, you coming out to the street, people start to discriminate against you because they have this whole myth setting about HIV and AIDS that once you're talking to somebody that's HIV positive, you can contract the virus like that. So it's like all these things you need to have to think about, because it's like, I won't want to come on the block and feel discriminated by my friends because they know I'm HIV positive. So I'm supposed to be able to try my best to protect myself from that, because I don't want to be discriminated again. I want to be able to come there and drink in the same glass. If I want a glass of water, he can give me a glass. He don't watch me no way to think that he gonna get you virus in them kind of way. He mightn't tell me nothing behind in my face, but behind my back, he might, and the person so size, he will tell me in my face. So I don't want that, you know. I feel hurt. So no, we need to start to think about ourselves so we could actually protect others.
We want getting a point from you right here.
But I'm saying, it doesn't matter the age of the person. As legal as you be, you can teach that youth or that girl what to do in life. Like I say, protect yourself. Not like I say, oh, she road, she costing me every day, you road, costing me every day. Leave it the way you want. If you're not going to get AIDS, then you're going to get AIDS. You should not protect yourself, do that. No, you put that child, sit down and talk to that child.
See, now,
go ahead, make a point, man.
What I'm trying to say, I want to find out if it's a man-made disease or if it's a disease made by God. Where it's come from.
Right.
What we know for sure is that it's a human transmitted infection. I cannot say that it has come from X or Y or Z source, but it's here. The reality is that it's here and it's fatal, and we must protect ourselves from becoming infected.
How long you go live with HIV for?
I feel I can answer that for one of them educators.
Go ahead.
Depends on how you eat and how you treat yourself.
Definitely.
And it still doesn't base. You have to get the antiretroviral and make sure you take it on time. A lot of people think because they're HIV positive, you can just go on and have sex because you already have HIV. And that's one of the bad negative things that have a lot of us maybe dying even faster, because you get different strains that your medication that you're on is not for. So it's like it doesn't make it. So you always have to protect yourself, whether or not you have the virus or you don't have the virus. And one thing I'm going to say, one thing I believe and I'm going to stand for, that sex education should be taught since a primary school level, so that children will grow up with that knowledge, so you could know how to handle yourself, how to control yourself, what urges you will have, so then you wouldn't be able to just go around and do things because you're feeling a particular way. And as Kimon said, get tested and always know your status.
Yeah, as my favorite artist would say, Anthony B. Rude boy, don't be silly. Before you make a move, put one in your belly. Before you take a ride, put one on your wheelie. You have some man that say they feeling chilly. You know what I mean?
So Norman, just wrap it up for us.
I think today we had a very good discussion. Quite a lot of information came from you yourselves as participants. We didn't have much work to do in terms of explanation. I think you did a very good job, so you should applaud yourself for that. Just to say finally that HIV is really a personal choice that you have to make. Protect yourself, you have to get tested. Very often we society discriminate against persons who are HIV positive. You call them names or the like. And it's important for you to play your part in terms of alleviating the issue of discrimination. And therefore, you use the knowledge that you have gained today and have already had to assist in this regard. We mentioned putting the rubbers on the wheelie, not just putting the rubbers on the wheelie, putting the rubber on it properly, not just the rubbers in the billy, but making sure the rubber is good that's in the billy. Sometimes the rubber stay in the billy for months and it become damaged and they can still become infected. Right? So just make the right choice and we can all benefit positively if we stay HIV free.
I think Norman has said it all. It's all about educating yourselves, making healthy choices. Right, we have been chatting with the guys from Guelph, and we really do hope that you who are viewing will take the time to educate yourself and share what you have learned with others. And that is the only way we can truly protect ourselves. I'm Andy, your host, and this is the Block where it's all about making a difference, one community at a time.